Hello, good evening. I'm Ashutosh Srivastav, and today we will discuss about tendon biomechanics, structure, function, and tendinopathy. So let's start the topic. Tendons are situated between bone and muscles and are a bright white in color. Their fibroelastic composition gives them the strength required to transmit large mechanical forces. Each muscle has two tendons, one proximally and one distally. At the point which the tendon forms the attachment to the muscles is known as the musculotendinous junction, and the point at which the attached to the bone is known as the osteotendinous junction. The purpose of tendon is to transmit force generated from the muscles to the bone to initiate movement. The proximally attachment of tendon is also known as the origin, and the digital tendon is called the insertion. Tendon have a different shape and size depending on the role of the muscles. Here we can see a picture of the tendons where the bone, muscles, tendon, blood supply and nervous system of the tendon, tendon composition. So tendon have a cellular component of tendon divided into two parts, that is the intracellular and extracellular matrix. So starting we will start with the intracellular matrix. In intracellular matrix, there is a tenoplast, tenocytes, chondrocytes, synovial cell, and vascular cell. The tendon cells are known as the tenoblast and tenocytes. They make up approximately 90 to 95% of the cell within the tendon, and the other 5 to 10 in percentage include the chondrocytes, synovial cell, and vascular cell. Tenoblasts are immature tendon cells. Initially, they are different in size and shape, but as they age, they become elongated and spindle shaped and transfer into tenocytes. The tenocytes are responsible for the turnover of maintenance of the extracellular matrix. The tenocytes respond to mechanical load of tendon and thus make a adaptation. They are arranged in a longitudinal rows and have a extensive communication with adjacent cell, usually through gap junction. As we know, gap junction are very complex and complicated structure. They have a two hemichannel. These are also connections. Connection is a collection of six connection protein subunit. These have a central pore. The connection in an open state allow metabolites and ions to pass freely between the gap junction. The connections are numbered, and the one which are interested in the cell communication and tendon regeneration are connection 26, 32, and 43. Connection 43 is situated in gap junction between cell in row along with the collagen fibers. Connection 26 and 32 have a more diffuse pattern. Connection 43 is responsible for the inhibition of the collagen synthesis within the tenocytes as a response to the mechanical loading. Connection 32 have a stimulatory role, but all we need to know that they are at communication between cell within the tendon to help with the regeneration and adaptation. Now we will discuss the extracellular matrix. The extracellular matrix is the collagen fiber, proteoglycans and glycoproteins. Tendon are consist of mainly type 1 collagen fiber and proteoglycans. The type 1 collagen fiber are the responsible for the tensile strength of tendon, whereas the proteoglycans are responsible for the viscoelastic nature of the tendons. The orientation of the collagen fiber in tendon have been found in to run parallelly, simply crossing two fiber with one straight. A plate formation of these fiber and an uptyping of two parallel running fibers. The orientation and organization of collagen fiber differs from tendon to tendon and vary in location of the tendon. This is depend on the requirement of each tendon. For example, tendon that need resistance rotational tensile force will have a collagen fiber orientation to enable this. The collagen molecule consists of polypeptide chain. These three of these chain combined together form a tensile packed helical tropocollagen molecule. Five of these combination together form a microfibril. The microfibril then aggregated together to form a fibril. These are then grouped into fibers and fibers into fiber bundles and then into fascicles. The fascicles are small in a diameter in the young, but at the mature into the adulthood they grow in a size, peaking in size between the age of 20 to 29-year-old. As the tendon progressively ages and the diameter become smaller. This has been linked to the possible in the decreased strength of muscles. It has also been noted that the diameter can shrink in size if the tendon become injured. Vascularity of a tendon is a very important when considering the healing process. Blood supply from tendon can be split into two sources, the intrinsic and second one is the extrinsic. The intrinsic sources are the musculotendon junction and the osteotendinous junction, while the extrinsic are at through the paratendon or the synovial sheath. The blood supply to the specific area are supplied by different sources. The intrinsic at the musculotendon junction has been documented to extend into 1/3 of the tendons, whereas the blood supply originated from the osteotendinous junction is the more avascular and is limited to the insertional point. This leave the extrinsic sources to supply the mid portion of the tendon. Study have show that tendon have the significantly reduced vascularity around bony pool. A connection has been made between tendon that can be compressed at multiple locations and common site of degeneration or rupture. The innervation of the tendon start from the cutaneous, peritendinous and muscular nerves. At the musculotendinous junction, nerve fiber cross and enter the endotenon and the peritoneum. These fiber then enter and innervated the epitenon. The majority of the nerve fiber terminate and reside on the surface of the tendon. The nerve ending can be categorized into myelinated and unmyelinated. The myelinated nerve fiber are specialized mechanoreceptor, Golgi tendon organs, sensing tendons, and pressure in the tendon. These tend to be located close to the muscles. The unmyelinated fibers are responsible for the sensing and transmitting pain. The surrounding structure of the tendon can be split into five subcategories. The main aim of these structure is to reduce friction and enable the tendon to glide smoothly. This is an important factor for ensuring the transition of the force is at the most efficient. These structures are the fibrous sheet, reflection pulleys, synovial sheet, peritendinous sheet, and tendon bursa. Now let's start the tendon mechanical property. The structure and composition of tendon allowed for the unique and mechanical behavior reflected by a stress strain curve consisting of the three distinct regions: the toe region, linear region, third one is the yield and failure region. The toe region, this is where stretching out or uncrimping of crimped tendon fibrils occur from the mechanical loading to the tendon up to 2% of strain. This region is responsible for the non-linear stress strain curve because the slope of the toe region is not linear. Second one is the linear region. This is the physiological upper limit of the tendon strain whereby the collagen fibrils oriented themselves in the direction of the tensile mechanical load and being to stretch. The tendon deform in a linear fashion due to the intramolecular sliding of the collagen triple helix. If strain is less than 4%, the tendon will return to its original length when unloaded. Therefore, this position is elastic and reversible, and the slope of the curve represented the Young's module. The third one is the yield and failure region. This is where the tendon is stretched beyond its physiological limit and intramolecular cross-link between collagen fibers fail. If microfailure continue to accumulate, stiffness is reduced and the tendon being to fail, resulting in irreversible plastic deformation. If the tendon stretches beyond 8 to 10% of its original length, microscopic failure soon follows. The second property is the vasculoelastic. Tendon have the vasculoelastic property like the result of the collagenous protein, water, and interaction between collagen and the proteoglycans, meaning their mechanical behavior is depending on the rate of the mechanical strain. In the other words, the relationship between stress and strain of a tendon is not constant but depend on the time and displacement or load. A vasculoelastic material is the more deformable at low strain rate but less deformable at high strain rates. Therefore, tendon at low strain rates tend to be absorb more mechanical energy but are less effectively in carrying mechanical load. However, tendon become stiffer and more effective in transmitted large muscular loads to bone at a high strain rates. There are three major characteristics of the vasculoelastic material of tendon. First one is the creep. Creep indicate increasing deformation under constant load. This is in a contrast with the usual elastic material which does not elongate no matter how long to load it applied. The second one is the stress relaxation. Indicate stress. The second one is the stress relaxation. Indicates stress acting upon a tendon will eventually reduce under a constant deformation. Third one is the when a viscoelastic material is loaded and unloaded, the unloading curve is different from the loading curve. The difference between two curves represent at the amount of the energy that is lost during loading. If loading and unloading are repeated several times, different curve can be obtained. After about 10 cycles, however, the loading and unloading curve no longer change and amount of hysteresis is reduced allowed to strain stress curve to become reproducible. Now let's talk about the factor affecting mechanical force. Many factors affect the mechanical force of tendon during normal locomotion. First, different tendons in the body are subjected to the different level of mechanical load. For example, it has been estimated that the peak force transmitted to the Achilles tendon in the human during running is 9 kN, which is equivalent to the 12.5 time body weight. The differential effect of mechanical loading on tendon. When the mechanical loading level is low, it affects on tendon, that is decreased tensile strength, decreased size of tendon, decreased collagen production in tendon, decreased anabolic activities and increased catabolic activities. When the moderate mechanical load, it affect on tendon, that is increased tensile strength, increased collagen synthesis, decreased collagen degradation, decreased adhesion, decreased inflammatory mediator, and increased tendon stem cell. When the excessive loading on tendon, it increase myofibroblast, increase inflammatory mediator, increase edema and decrease collagen organization and tensile strength. Normally, tendon can show a disorganized response to loading as well as improved tension structure with over long-term loading. Now let's start tendinopathy. Tendinopathy is also known as the tendinitis, is a type of tendon disorder that result in pain, swelling and impaired function. The pain is typically worse with the movement. It most commonly occurs around the shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip and knee or ankle joint. Cause may include an injury or repetitive activity. Group at the risk include people who do manual labor, musicians, and athletes. Less common causes include the infection, arthritis, gout, thyroid disease, and diabetes. Diagnosis that typically based on the symptom examination and occasionally medical imaging.